Good people, welcome to Roosevelt Gardens, where you can grow your mind, your mindset, and build your success. Right? There's a lot of get rich quick schemes. I've tried a couple, they've never worked out for me. What's always worked out for me is knowing exactly where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. The first thing I want to talk about is a 10-year plan. Do you have a 10-year plan? You probably don't. You're probably trying to get through your day to day. Maybe you know what you're doing next month. But what you really need to do is come up with a plan, be something that you can slowly build towards day over day, month over month, year over year. You need to know what you want and why you want it. The ebbs and flows of life will take and push you into many different directions. But what you need to have is a long term, overarching goal or plan that you want to achieve, whether it's financial, whether it's relationships, whether it's fame, whether it's knowledge, whatever you're searching for, and whatever you want to achieve in your life, you need to give yourself enough space to build towards it, as well as understand fundamentally what you want to achieve. Building that 10-year plan will provide you with that final destination. So while you get distracted with the many different things that can happen, you will always be reoriented towards what you want to achieve. Why 10 years, you ask? Well, 10 years gives you a significant amount of time to make mistakes and to learn what's working and what's not working as you venture towards your ultimate goal. Knowing where you want to go and keeping your compass focused on that goal will mean that you will passively work towards the things that you desire. If you don't have an ultimate goal on what you want to do and where you want to be and what you want to achieve, you're going to hit these short term marks, and you'll see that the next thing that you ask yourself is, what next? It could be anything. That's the beautiful thing about a 10-year goal, is you are the one that defines it. You get to define your life and your success. And by setting that 10-year goal, you will know where you want to be. What happens when you don't have a 10-year plan is essentially your little distractions can veer you off course. You'll be directionless. And although you may achieve some success, you won't have that connective tissue between the 20-year-old self and the 30-year-old self, or the 30-year-old self and the 40-year-old self. You're going to change dramatically over those 10 years. You're going to grow, you're going to age, you're going to gain weight, you're going to lose weight, you're going to have friendships that come and go, you're going to have relationships that come and go, or maybe, you know what, your relationships are pretty stagnant, which is fantastic, right? Without actually defining what you want, you won't get it. And it's unfortunate. A directionless life is a life wasted. In my life, what I wanted to achieve was to own my own house, pay off my mortgage, and essentially become debt free. And so when I was getting out of high school, instead of going into university, I went into college. I learned to become a building construction technician, and I learned to swing a hammer, and I went into the trades. I traveled across Canada building big box stores like Best Buy, Future Shops, Home Depots, and I saved, and I saved, and I saved. And while other folks were going out and partying and having a great time, I was taking it easy, and I was biding my time. Now, every once in a while, I would go out and hang out or tie one on with my colleagues and friends. But overall, I was pretty focused on building up that down payment. And once I got that down payment, I pushed forward and I got a mortgage and I purchased the home. Now, owning a house has got a lot of additional expenses to it. And to make sure that I was going to be successful, I moved a bunch of my friends in. So it was like a rooming frat house, which was a lot of fun. We played a bunch of board games. They had pretty inexpensive rent, and it helps me pay off that mortgage. And the wonderful thing about a 10-year plan is it gives you a lot of space to make those mistakes that you need to make. Mistakes are one of the most important things that you're going to do. They're going to happen over and over and over again. And this is the best way you're going to learn. If you're not learning, you're not growing. And if you're not making mistakes, you're probably not pushing yourself to the point where you can really grow and develop into who you need to be. Building a routine. It's important to build a daily routine as much as possible, whether that's eating healthy, whether that's exercising, whether that's taking time with your family and friends. All of those things are very important. That being said, over 10 years, what you'll see is your routine will change and change and change. It's impossible to maintain the same routine consistently and constantly. You start a new job, now all of a sudden your routine is on its head. Hey, you started dating a new person. Great stuff. But your old routine of hanging out with your friends every Friday night has changed. Now you need to spend time every second Friday night, maybe every Friday night with your new partner. And that's great stuff. The thing about a routine is it needs to be flexible to adjust how your life changes. With a 10-year plan, your routine can adjust, your life can adjust. All these things that change around your life can happen while you maintain that direction that you're pushing towards. And maybe your 10-year goal is to travel every country or every continent. And that's a noble goal by all means, right? Save up, make your list, and start checking it off. And you become a world traveler. When it comes to relationships, it is very easy to be caught up with the next person in front of you. And a lot of people are not going to be for you, and that's okay. What you need to remember and need to focus on is who you are and what type of person you want to be with, and what sort of relationship goals you have. If you want to just go around and have fun, that's fantastic. It doesn't really feed into your long term goals. You can just go and be with people and learn about them and learn about yourself and have a bunch of fun. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to build a substantial relationship and you want to have children, you're going to need to have a partner that is in line with that and wants to have that in their life too. You might be super compatible with someone and get along with them great, and then you realize that they don't really want to have kids. And if that's something you want in your life, it's not going to work out. And vice versa. Maybe you don't want kids at all. Maybe you don't want the extra burden. Maybe you're concerned about the way the world is going. Fundamentally, you want to have something come out of that relationship and the other person doesn't, or vice versa. It's not going to be sustainable. When it comes to relationships, there's a lot of people out there. And a lot of people make relationship decisions based on their personal loneliness. You feel alone. You feel sad. You want to share your life with someone. It makes a ton of sense. If your 10-year goal is a relationship goal, you need to find someone who is in line with your relationship goals. If you want to have children and they don't have children, this is not a relationship that you want to invest a lot of time into. They might be a lovely person. You might get along with them. And you might be deeply in love. Maybe you've grown that connection. But ultimately, if your goals are not in line, the relationship is not going to succeed. People often ask, what do I do now that I've broken up? Now that I don't have that relationship anymore? Obviously, it hurts. It hurts deeply. You feel like you've lost a piece of yourself. You feel like you're no longer worthy. But having a relationship end is probably the best thing, because it wasn't working out anyway. And maybe you don't know why it wasn't working out, and that doesn't really matter. You need to accept that it's happened. You need to forgive the person for rejecting you, and you need to move on and find the person that is actually going to work with you well. Find that person that you connect with on an emotional, on an intellectual, on a physical, and on a long-term goal sense. That is the relationship that is actually going to build into the partnership that can make the impacts, that can help you both become who you want to be. The bad things that happen, and they're going to happen in life, you'll see them as little obstacles or hiccups or speed bumps that will maybe slow you down, but is not going to distract you from where you want to go. Imagine for a moment you're in a canoe and you're in a lake that's got a bunch of different currents. What you'll notice is you can just sit there and float. and let the currents take you in any which direction and enjoy yourself and relax. But if you want to get to the raft, you're going to need to start paddling. And as you paddle, those currents will still push and pull you in different directions. And you'll need to adjust. But what you're going to see is as you start paddling towards it and you get closer and closer, those currents, although a distraction and although a deterrent from from where you want to be, won't stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. The challenge with a 10-year goal is its length. It's a long time. Even as someone who's halfway through their life, it's a long time having a 10-year goal. 10 years seems like forever. But that being said, when you look back, it goes quickly. Look at your life now. Look at the last 10 years of your life. Do you remember what it was like when you were much younger? All the different directions you ran in, all the different things that you valued. What about the world itself? Right? Over the last 10 years, artificial intelligence has changed dramatically. These things are going to come and they're going to go and they're going to change and disrupt your patterns. They're going to change the world that you live in and the way you need to live your life. And that's okay. Because if you're focused on the outcomes that you want, you will slowly be building towards them and you'll be able to achieve them. If you have no goal, if you're directionless, those currents and those changes in the world will wisp you away and you'll be lost. Find yourself, take the time, and determine what your 10-year plan is. What is the goal? What do you actually want to achieve? And what are the steps that you are going to take to achieve it? There's no wrong answers here. What's right for you is not going to be right for someone else. And there's going to be detractors from what you want to do. Maybe it's going to be family members, maybe it's going to be friends, but you know in your heart who you are. And you know in your heart where you want to be and what you want to become. The interesting thing about a 10-year goal is even though you will change over those 10 years dramatically, that one goal, that one sight line, that one direction is not going to change. It's going to inform who you become, and it's going to help you become the person that you want to be. So what I want you to do now is write down in the comments what your 10-year goal is. Write down what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. Put it there so it's on the record. Put it there so it's in your mind. Put it there so you can come back and comment again in 10 years' time. I did it. I made it. Please subscribe for more great advice and come join us as we learn and grow together.